Today I'm going to attempt to show you how to make the Scottish delicacy tablet. I've got all the ingredients here. A kilo of sugar, is that? Yeah, I think that's 1 kilo of sugar. Some butter and some condensed milk. You don't really need anything. Oh, and some milk. Ordinary full cream milk. The first thing we do is prepare the tin. The tin I've got here is about 32 by 22 centimetres, something like that. So the amount of butter we need is about half of this, around about half. Pop it on the tin. Rest back in the fridge and just smoosh it around a bit. Try not to scratch the tin with your knife because it's a non-stick, so I shouldn't really need this butter, but there we go. Right, and the rest just pop in the pan and stick it on gentle heat. About 250 ml of milk. In America they call that a cup. I call it 250 ml. But you can just chuck the milk in on top. Right, that butter's more or less melted in now. So we just throw the sugar in. Whoa, quite literally. Pour it in, shall we? And now we need quite a gentle heat at this point because we don't want the sugar to burn. That way lies caramel and toffee and that sort of thing, which is not what we're after. This is not a brand of condensed milk I've used before. It's got a ring pull top, which is quite handy, but a teaspoon still comes useful for scraping all the bits off the top. And then that just goes in. Try and get out as much as you can. When I was a kid, it was my job to clean the can out after my mum had got all she could out of the tin. So it depends on how generous you feel towards your kids, on how carefully you clean out what's in the tin. You can probably have a little bit higher heat now. What we don't want to do is get it to boil so vigorously that it comes over the sides of the pan. That would be a disaster. Another modern innovation, well not modern, but an innovation that my mother never had, is sugar thermometer. Very useful things. I just pop that on the side of the pan like that. And what I'm going to be looking for is when the mixture gets up to the temperature of 115 degrees centigrade. That's Oh, that's about 240 Fahrenheit. Yeah, 240 Fahrenheit. It's what they call the soft ball point. This is where my mum used to do it the softball way. You take a teaspoonful of the mixture and you drop it into a glass of cold water. If it forms a soft ball, you know that it's reached the right temperature. But the problem with sugar is it does get very hot, and if you get it on you, it sticks. So it burns and it stays burning. So be very careful. I'm just gently stirring now, well, more or less constantly, to stop it from sticking to the pan, basically. That again would be a disaster, because that bit that's stuck then gets hotter than the rest, and you end up with lumps of toffee. We're up to about 95 degrees there, so it's not far off boiling. I have to adjust the heat now. So with the sugar thermometer on the side of the pan there, I find that that's a useful gauge to judge how quickly the mixture is boiling. So I'll look at the numbers on the thermometer and use it as a level gauge. The harder the mixture boils, the higher up it climbs in the pan. Obviously, as I said earlier, we don't want it going over the edge, but here it is coming up. I don't know if you can you see that in the video? I think you probably can. And that's now boiling too much, so I drop that. I'm moving the thing the wrong way. I mean, that was a close one. So that is boiling too hard, and I accidentally moved the gas the wrong way, and I've got to relight it now. So it's still boiling too hard, so we just got a gentle heat under it now until it goes down a bit. Give it a stir, that helps it to calm down a bit. And I can see by the numbers on the thermometer, it's dropping down. So that's about the level I like to keep it, which on the thermometer is actually at the 140 Fahrenheit. And I just use that as a gauge. Oh, set it correctly. Just setting a timer on my microwave for the beating stage. When we get up to the temperature that we want, we take it off the heat, and we're going to beat it for a good 5 minutes. And the idea of that is to, I'm not quite sure how it works, but it breaks down the bonds between the sugars, and it's like mixing in the butter between them. So you don't get the kind of strongly bonded sugars like you get in toffees. This is quite usual, this constant adjustment of the heat to get it boiling at the right ferocity. occasionally when I do it, I manage to get it right more or less at the start and just keep it at the same heat. It doesn't always work. Okay, using the sugar thermometer is by far the easiest method, so I would recommend getting one if you're planning to try this. But apart from the soft ball test, dripping some of the mixture into cold water, there are subtle differences that come over the mix as you approach that temperature, but it takes experience to spot those differences. So it's a difference in the way that it sticks to the side of the pan. You start to get the oil of the butter is starting to separate from the sugar, which is why you've got to beat it back in when you've taken it off the heat. And that's starting to come up now. It's starting to show some of those subtle signs I was talking about. It's like where before it was sticking to the sides of the pan and leaving, you see it's still doing that slightly, but now it comes away from the pan a lot cleaner because there's like a little ring of grease around the edge, and that is actually just about there on the thermometer. So at this point I would be doing the soft ball test, but I'm not going to do that because I've got the handy thermometer and it is pretty much there, I would say. So now comes the bit that's a bit more hard work. Not all that bad. This is the other use I have for this handy plate, is for putting sticky thermometers on and get all the drips off first. And when that's cooled down, it's quite interesting to see the difference between that and what ends up in the tray. So we turn the heat off now, we start the timer and we start beating. When I say beating, it's just giving it a vigorous stir really. But again, be very careful here. When you splash this over the sides and spill it on yourself, it's going to hurt. Oddly enough, I got this job quite often as a child as well. Have to work for your treat of cleaning the pan out later. Right, there we go. So, what I tend to do is pour it into the corners and then backwards and forwards. It sets really quickly at this point, so you've got to try and pour it in as quickly as possible. You see, that's beginning to form little mounds in the middle of the pan already. So again, how much you leave for your children to clean out, entirely up to you. I haven't done a very good job of cleaning that out there, but it's too thick now to put in the pan, in the tray, because it will just cause lumps. So now you have to be patient and let it cool properly before you even attempt to eat anymore. Well, here's the finished product. I've eaten a square already just to check the quality, and as you can see it all breaks apart nice and easily, having been properly scored. Oh, that one's not coming, there we go. Nice thickness, good texture, and lovely taste.